Hey, how you doing? It's time for Uber Grace 131. Cue the music, haven't got any. Anyway, I got this great analogy which I hope will help you. You know, on your smartphone, you often have apps that you've used, but maybe you haven't completely switched them off, and they're on in the background. And you kind of work out, why is my battery draining so fast? Why am I always having to recharge my battery? Probably because you've got an iPhone. But for the rest of us as well, why is it that my phone just won't keep charged for ages? It's always going down. You look and then you find out, oh, there's all these apps on in the background. Things that I didn't know were there, or I did know were there, but I wasn't using, but I have used. And they're still open. I haven't closed them. And they're there on my phone, I'm not using them, and they're draining my battery. Now, obviously, most of my videos I've done in the last 130 of them have all been about addressing a lot of the toxic, unbiblical ideas, or maybe not unbiblical, but kind of wrong ways of looking at what the Bible says and stuff, and how you can actually look at it in a different, more Christ-like way. And I think this metaphor, this analogy, works really well for people like us, really, that are making this journey, not away from God, not away from Jesus, but just away from loads of these ideas that have actually held us back from the freedom that Christ has set us free for. Now, what do I mean? Well, let's take for an example the big one, right? Like hell, the idea of hell. I mean, there's been no subject I have studied more, because it was such a big one. You get this wrong, you're going to hell, aren't you? So it's like, you've got to study this out, and I've done that a lot. And I've completely closed that off now. I know for sure, because I've studied it so much, read so many books, so many scriptures, so many interpretations, different ideas, all sorts. I've done videos on it, you know that if you've seen them. That's closed off for me. That app is not running in the background. But say you've been brought up with that. Say you've been brought up always thinking that hell is a reality. There's no doubt that hell is a reality. And you just can't cope with that idea anymore. You know, you might be out of church now, you might be struggling with church. You just got this, how is this, loving God and hell in the same creation, And the answers that you've been given just don't work anymore. So you've just put it on the shelf. Can't deal with it, can't cope with it. The problem is with that, is that it's still an app open in the background. And it's still actually, although you're not looking at it, you're not thinking about it, it's actually kind of subconsciously, it's still there in the background, draining your battery, draining your life. That's a really good example. I mean, it's like the rapture. I was never really into the rapture. I learnt about it. I didn't really teach it because I thought it had more to do with Star Trek than good biblical study. But since the early 1800s, Christians around the world have been waiting to be raptured or not. And the anxiety that brings. And you come to the point where I can't deal with this any longer. And it seems to be all the Christians believe it's true. So I can't deal with it. So I'm just going to put it on the shelf and not think about it. But the problem with that is that you do think about it, and it does gnaw at the back of your consciousness, at the back of maybe your subconsciousness, and it makes you anxious, and it maybe even makes you depressed. But whatever happens, it makes you something not good. It doesn't bring you life, even though you've shelved it. Maybe you're gay, and you like God, you love Jesus, but the Bible says you just can't handle it. So you just got to go on with your life. So you put it aside. You just put, you put it on the shelf, put it on the back burner, on ice on the back burner, or whatever. You just get rid of it, but you don't get rid of it, because all the time at the back of your mind, you are thinking, but the Bible says, and God doesn't like gays and all this sort of nonsense. Actually, it's nonsense, but it's what you end up. Subconsciously, unconsciously, you're not there, but it's like an app draining your battery in the background. I think I probably made the point. And to be honest, this isn't just about evangelicals and Pentecostals coming out of these dark, toxic beliefs. This is also anybody who's never been near religion at all could have probably have picked up some beliefs that just aren't true, but you just always thought it, always believed it. I don't mean metaphysical, I mean just maybe about yourself, maybe about ginger-haired people, all sorts of ideas maybe. And that's just a really bad example, okay, the ginger-haired thing. A little bit in my beard, it's all good. But you also have just thought, I can't deal with that anymore, on the shelf. But there's still the same cycles of disaster, rescue, good life, bad life, and all that going on all the time, those cycles you're in. And it's because some of the ideas we grow up with and we believe, we're just put on the side, and maybe we should tackle them, find out why we understood them, why did we think that was true, whether it's a Christian doctrine or whether it's an idea that's driving you mad. Doesn't matter. If you don't deal with it, it's definitely like an app that's just left on running in the background, and it does drain you, and it does have an impact, negative impact on your life. And from a Jesus point of view, he came to give us life in all its fullness. He came to say, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And yet we've got this idiotic ideas running in our head because we think the Bible says. Oh my goodness, But we just put it on the shelf, on ice, on the back burner, whatever. Please, read some books if you're a reader. Contact me and ask me what to read if you're a reader. If you're more into a group, I can put you into some groups on Facebook. If you want to just chat one-to-one, get in touch or talk to people maybe have a different point of view to what you've been brought up with. But I tell you what, if you can actually nail some of these ideas down, you're actually turning off those apps in the background, and you will find bit by bit, however you do it, whether it's, I did lots of reading and study. I sit and chat with people, go for days out with people to spend hours talking about some of this stuff, because it takes time to get some of it out. But if you do, you become that little bit freer. You become that little bit more alive, because you're turning those apps off in the background. I really hope you found that helpful. Please do share with people as many as you can, because I think this is a really, it's a really good point. It's a good analogy, and you might find people who really are living under the weight of something, and it's invisible. They don't know what it is. So please share, like, comment, and of course I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra now. Bye.